is not easy because there are multiple constituencies within the Democratic Party that want action as soon as possible, and they've got to figure out who gets what and how fast.
Yeah, I just add one more thing, just real quick. It's kind of like a presidential budget. A president never thinks that the budget is going to pass, but it's their wish list, it's their desire, it's their platform, and that's what this is.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's talk about this, I guess, Cold War at this point, but I think Donald Trump might want a hot war with Mitch McConnell. So these two are at odds. They're publicly criticizing each other. Donald Trump is going so far as to insult Mitch McConnell, calling him dour and sullen, and then he went to let's go and say that. And then Mitch McConnell, a source close to Mitch McConnell told us this. You are probably not going to hear McConnell utter the name Donald Trump ever again. He's moving on. Well, then is it possible to move on when a large chunk of the Republican Party, and certainly Republicans in Congress, are not moving on? And they are, for instance, we just confirmed the reporting that Congressman Steve Scalise is just the latest person to make a pilgrimage to Lago to, I don't know, I guess for a favor, kiss the ring, whatever, of Donald Trump. Yeah. So how realistic is it that Mitch McConnell can never utter the name again and move on?
Not realistic, but the reporting from our colleague Manu Raju makes realistic, but the reporting from our colleague Manu Raju makes realistic, but the part in this hot war, as you said, is over right now. He's dialing it down, and that is a signal to the former president that he's dialing it down. There are a lot of people in the middle there who are kind of going back and forth between the two camps, trying to calm things down for a host of reasons, the most practical of which is 2022. And the biggest concern among Republicans who are trying to game out, trying to get the majority back, is that Donald Trump will be so angry at Mitch McConnell that he will back Republican candidates in primaries who have no chance of winning the Senate seats, they believe. Kelly Ward in Arizona, Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia, which is a fascinating story, and the list goes on and on. So you are seeing emissaries. Scalise is a different story, but with regard to the Senate and Mitch McConnell, emissaries trying to calm both sides down, especially Donald Trump at this point.
Yeah, listen, if you look at the Georgia Senate races, right, I mean, the president did not help there. And that issue was, of course, him denying the election and taking it out on Republicans, and voters responded, right?
Of
course.
Jim, the thing is, here's the challenge for McConnell, and it's similar to the situation with President Biden. Both of them can control what comes out of their mouth, how much they engage. And they've got big jobs to do in Washington. They can't control what Trump does. They can't control what the media covers. The reality, though, is that it's a lot easier for Donald Trump to carry on.
Women, here's a revolutionary idea. Date with a purpose. What purpose? Getting married. Whoa, am I moving too fast for you? Making you uncomfortable? Dating, you say, is just, well, dating. You know, hookups, casual flings, having
fun. Conflicts of this kind, when he has the presidential pulpit, when he has his Twitter feed, when he is not dealing with some of the legal challenges that he's about to face. And so I think McConnell, when he looks ahead to 2022, calculating, his team is calculating, is Donald Trump really going to have the energy to engage across a broad front of Senate races? He's going to have to.
Man, I'm trying to get this shit going real quick. Hold on, y'all.
But for other people, if he's going to engage in a bunch of Senate races, it's one thing to put out some press releases or even to call into Hannity or do some interviews. It's another thing to really put your shoulder to the wheel, raise money, go out and speak for people. I think the McConnell team is calculating that Donald Trump's not going to be willing or able to do that.
Shut up.
President Biden, for his part, as he showed in that town hall in Anderson the other day.
So I got all that going real quick. All right, so boom. This, ladies and gentlemen,
situation.
Yeah, and in that case, McConnell would be doing it.
What up, everybody? So, today I'm working on the new, I just bought this new, what is this called? Drawing pad or whatever. It's called Wacom. So, just got that. And this is what I'm gonna be working with. This one I'm be doing all my designs off of, and I think I'm gonna try to make I'm a cartoon myself. So hold on. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go up here. We're gonna make a new layer. Damn, wrong one. Alright, so we ain't gonna use the pen. I'm gonna do this real quick. We're gonna close that back out. Close that. Go up here. Make a new layer. It's cool. We're gonna stay on that layer because I want to make sure I draw it out. Then we're gonna go over here. We're gonna use.
Have you gotten word on when power will be restored to everyone?
Do I need to? I think I need to add something. Hold on. I need a pen. Let's see. Chalk, clone, pencil. So we need to add this. We need to add the pencil. Add pencil.
And transformers that are frozen during the time the power was out. That after they were re-energized, they were found to be faulty. So
all right. So pencil.
So in Dallas County, there's about 23,000.
We're gonna trace it out real quick.
3 straight days. I'm worried about them, working with Encore on them.
I think it might be in black. So.
People. And the rest of the counties around here, it's around 3,000.
Let's see. We got.
And those folks have not.
Let's see. It's sharp. We got a minute.
Freezing temperature.
All right, here. Let's go in.
To some families, they have kids. They are desperately.
I need to see how thin or how deep this thing is real quick.
Freezing water is pouring into their homes. I mean, it is a catastrophe. And I just want to read you what
how thin it is.
And of course, your former governor Rick Perry said in a blog yesterday. He said Texans would be without electricity for longer than 3 days to keep the federal government out of their business. He's basically saying that this is the price of energy independence, and he thinks it's worth it. Do you agree with him?
No, the fault of this lies squarely on Rick Perry and the current government.
I need this pencil to be black.
They and their team passed the regulations that tell people whether or not they need to winterize. They chose not to tell companies to winterize, that they need to winterize, which in a regulatory environment for a commodity is telling
what did I do?
Not to winterize. They're now trying to blame it on a company
that
the governor Abbott hired. They can easily fire that company and hire another one. But if they don't take responsibility and fix this, and by putting
I don't know what I just
guidelines for gas lines that are frozen underground and for energy generators that haven't worked because they're not winterized, this will happen again.
All right.
The fault lies with those 2 individuals alone.
And so There
also is a group called a Railroad Commission. There are 3 elected officials that oversee gas pipelines. They do shoulder the responsibility for not modernizing the gas pipeline system. But it is actually there's plenty of.
So I got to see what the hell that is.
At the top of the food chain, it is the government and the Railroad Commission.
So just so I'm clear, with Governors Perry and Abbott, you're saying that they.
So we got to undo that.
To what? Do this on the cheap? Was that their motivation?
They consciously chose to
do
we
need to bring the size down to 1.
Enterprises, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad choice, but the bad choice was to do that so much that it was at the expense of reliability for residential customers and all of us in extreme weather. Extreme weather in Texas now is
Let's see how this shit gonna turn out.
Predictable event. We know that it will be hotter than ever before and colder than ever before, and we know it's always been extreme heat and extreme cold. So to say that you're fine with 3 days of power outage,
so let's see some.
is a false choice. Look, the choice is not a federal takeover or people freezing in their homes. The choice is to require winterization of equipment like all 49 other states do, including those with as low or lower prices than we have.
Really good to get your perspective, Judge. Judge Clay Jenkins, thank you very much. Take care of yourself, and obviously we'll be watching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, more than 100 million Americans are now on the path of snow and ice today along the East Coast. How long will the bitter cold last in Texas? As well, CNN meteorologist Chad Myers tracking it all. Are they going to get relief anytime soon?
I still don't see no movement.
They are Monday and Tuesday looking
I don't understand.
across the state.
Right.
And let me put this into a weather perspective because I don't think people are understanding.
So it's not really, damn, I don't understand what's going on with it. Hold on.
Texas gets hot, 105 degrees. You try to cool that state or your inside down to.
Oh, I'm erasing. I'm not using the pencil.
That's a 25-degree difference.
Okay.
But the temperature outside was 0. You try to warm that up to 70. That's a 70-degree difference. You're trying to bring that house up 70 degrees compared to trying to bring it down 25. And that's why they needed so much power there. Things are getting better here across parts of Texas. It begins to warm up.
All right, so let's try one more time. Let's see if it does it right.
Have a tornado or two. Now, I know you see snow out here in West Texas, down here across Del Rio, but that is a minor system, and it doesn't really affect the cities that have been so affected. Current temperatures are still in the 20s. Some spots
So let's see. Did it do it right?
Are well below that.
This time.
We warm up a few degrees today, but the big story is that we begin to warm another 10 degrees tomorrow. So Austin, you get to.
Still ain't doing it right.
Families facing food insecurity get access to their food. We needed to make sure that
Sunny and 42.
I gotta figure this out real quick, y'all. Man,
Things will get better.
here. Maybe I can use. Maybe I use the paintbrush and see if that'll work. Maybe the paintbrush will work. All right, so let's go with that.
Colder than you've been. And then a snow event for today will also keep it cold. Warmer air does get in here. Look at Dallas. By Wednesday, 73. Take that for sure.
So let's see if this is gonna work. I need hardness at 100.
This ice could be significant, quarter to a half inch thick. That could be a problem bringing down some power lines there. And then the snow farther to the north. New York, I think you're probably the city somewhere between 5 and 9 inches. More to the west in the higher elevations, Poconos, all the way to New Jersey. That's where the heavy snow.
Well, it's already falling here. We're seeing it. We'll see how much it sticks. Always good to have you on. Look forward to some relief for the state of Texas coming soon. Well, rolling power outages could last for days in Texas as the state grapples with extreme winter weather. It's still there. So many residents.
So is that tracking to my? Okay, yeah, it is tracking.
He served
Right.
under President Obama. Mr. Moniz is now founder and CEO of Energy.
I was just trying to see if it was going to track or not. So
there's a lot of talk about how, well, no one can see this coming, once in a generation, weather event. You say no.
So what I'm going to do.
We saw this before in 2011, which was known as the Big Chill at the time. You made a host of recommendations in the wake of that. Were any of them?
I'm about to go in here and we're about to do some
Well, I think there were a few steps taken.
we'll do some tracking around the eyes and shit. Let's go down to 5. All right, so y'all. So anyways, let's try this. We're gonna try to track around the eyes.
It's the warmest year on average. That there would be huge fluctuations. Big cold spells like now, big hot spells like last summer when California had rolling blackouts, droughts, floods, hurricanes.
See if I can trace myself, man.
This has all been expected, and as you said, 2011 was a rehearsal, shall we say, with a big chill. Lots of recommendations made.
I just realized that I talk in my sleep. I don't think I want to use those two lines right there. I think that might be ugly as fuck. Hold on.
Their lights are on. Their heating is on today. I want to ask you about how state officials, current and former,
I don't like that.
No, please, I don't know.
I was just going to say, I wanted to get your reaction to how state officials
All right, so we're going
practicing a bit of deflection here in terms of who's responsible. How to listen to.
Here, let's undo.
First of all, to Governor
Do
Abbott,
this.
how's he's excused.
Still undo that. Let's undo that. All right.
Every source of power the state of Texas has access to has been compromised because of the ultra cold temperature or because of equipment failures.
I should note, actually, at another moment, Governor Abbott said, hey, listen, this is all about windmills, which has become a talking point, and that's factually incorrect. Whereas Rick Perry, the former governor, he just said out loud that Texans would be without electricity for longer than 3 days to keep the federal government out of their business. In effect, admitting the problem here. Tell me about how state leadership has handled this in your opinion.
Well, first of all, as you've implied, these
that's ugly.
are deflections from the reality that, as I said earlier, they have not responded well enough by any means to the lessons of preparing for these extremes. So in Texas, where they are kind of a grid island in the United States, they have designed their system, on the one hand, much more for
This is going to be so fucking ugly.
winters, and that's being seen right now. But in addition, they made choices within their state. For example, to not have.
I'm just trying to see how
that is to
cool this pen.
That there be significant margins of reserve capacity. They are very thin on that, and they were way below the demand that has arisen. There are also other parts of the country. For example, I'm here in New England, where there are incentives from the grid operator for the utilities to have backup fuel, oil-based fuel, in case there isn't enough gas. Similarly, if you look at other parts of the country, the upper Midwest and Canada, they have a lot of windmills.
This shit gonna look crazy as fuck.
Because they are prepared for the cold weather. So Texas.
We gonna work it out. We gonna see.
Anyone who engages.
Let's just keep going. Fuck it. We gonna keep going.
Just incurring risk in the system, and they just have to face up to the job that they have to weatherize. They have to prepare for major.
I got a lazy eye going on, y'all.
Just as prepare for
I'm all
droughts
good.
extreme heat.
Ooh, that's fucked
in the
up.
summer.
That's not a perfect circle. My thing ain't tracking like I want it to.
In various places across the country. What does this tell us about the state of our infrastructure? Because folks have been talking for years about how the grid needs upgrading, right? And we as a country haven't invested the money. Well, what do we need to do?
First of all, let me say this issue of the event of the century becoming the event of the decade on the pathway to event of the year is something to face up to in terms of adaptation. That's quite clear. I might add, in a very different context, of course, we're seeing the same thing with the other tragedy of our day, the COVID pandemic, where we're talking about it as the event of the century. What is going on? Going back to the Spanish flu of 100 years ago.
Am I not pressing down on the pen or some shit?
This is the third coronavirus event.
It still ain't tracking.
Of just 20 years. So there's a whole raft of places where we just have to face the new realities and prepare for them. Now, in terms of the grid,
okay, it did to them, but why don't you do it all?
We had a major set of recommendations going back to the Obama administration for grid hardening, for grid development, for introducing much more information technology, for resilience of the grid. Some steps have been taken, but frankly, we are, I would say, the order of $100 billion short in terms of really modernizing the grid across this country, providing new opportunities, in fact, for the energy transition that we are going through. So I'm very much hopeful that
put this shit back in there where it needs to be.
Infrastructure package that we will see with bipartisan support this year, but it has to have a major energy infrastructure piece, and in the energy infrastructure, what we sometimes call the Uber infrastructure.
I swear I'm gonna get better at this shit.
because every other infrastructure depends on.
All right, so y'all, you know what? We're gonna do this drawing thing another day. All right, so let's just do what I came here to do.
Electricity to run pumps and the like. So,
what's up, guys? This is Will with Craig. Today we're
I'll do another fucking picture.
We should tear down the border wall. Let's do it.
All right, so we're gonna do a. We're just gonna use another picture. Let's go with this one.
It's the Google infrastructure. Our financial
All right.
systems run on it. And so,
And
I think the dependence of our society on electricity.
okay, so what we're gonna do? We'll do the drawing. We'll do the drawing thing another day. I just need to get a little bit better with it, which I really don't care nothing about it, but that's what we're gonna do. So right now.
We do have some breaking news on the unemployment front. First-time unemployment claims are much higher than expected as the jobs crisis in America.
All right, so we're gonna do that real quick.
Pandemic. CNN's chief business correspondent, Christine Roman's got the breaking details. What are you seeing?
Well, you know, we thought that maybe you see some reopenings in the Northeast, in the Southeast, and the Southwest, and that you would start to see these numbers go down, but they're not. There is a fire still burning in the American job market. That's the trend here. Another 861,000 first-time unemployment benefits, and last week was revised higher here. And then you look at this, when you put the pandemic unemployment filings, these are the special programs that the CARES Act and these special rescues from Congress have enacted. Altogether, 1.4 million people for the first time filed for unemployment benefits last week, and 18.3 million receiving some sort of a government check for jobless benefits, and those begin to run out next month in the middle of March. So again, demand for that fiscal fire hose here as American families are enduring this every day. Every one of these numbers is a person who couldn't go to work.
So we got that.
Because of what job.
And I'm using, like I said, I'm using this my little pen. The pen thing that I bought yesterday, and it works really good.
Inside of Texas, and this is spreading beyond. AccuWeather has the biggest forecast I've seen: $45 to $50 billion in physical damages and economic damages. Other estimates are a little bit lower than that, but when you look at Valencia oranges and grapefruits and the southern Texas citrus industry, it's in deep.
I'm just gonna cut.
You look at oil.
I'm gonna go back and I get closer.
And you look at just homeowners and what they're facing in terms of the physical damage to their homes. This is just the beginning of what is.
I'm just trying to go and knock out as much as I can real quick, and then I'll go back and get close as possible on the rest of it.
For the rest of the country over the next coming days, and of course, you know, for people who are going to pay their power bills in Texas, it's going to be a real rude awakening there.
Yeah, you wonder what the political effects will be. Does that lead to perhaps some Republican votes for the stimulus? We'll see. It's coming up. Christine Romans, thanks very much. Well, the game of chess is seeing renewed popularity with so many people at home this past year. And today is the human factor. We need a blind chess champion who hopes to inspire others to focus on what they can do in life.
I am the current U.S. blind chess champion, and I have won 3 years in a row. And I'm in the top 3% of women, top 10% of men in the regular adult sighted division. When I play chess, it's as close as I've ever come to a sense of equality, because when you start the game, no matter who you are, no matter what your physical
just got a little
is,
bit
where you come from,
lax right there.
Start with the same thing. My vision loss is a result of being born premature. I needed high levels of oxygen when I was born. The way it was administered caused the damage to my retinas. I have no visible perception out of my right eye. My visual field is very narrow. I think when somebody has a disability, kids, of course, don't understand that, so they can be cruel. I did encounter a lot of teasing. I wound up realizing that if I could beat them in chess, in a way it showed I was smarter than they were, so then there really would be nothing they could say. The biggest thing I get out of playing chess is it helps me cope with a lot of things I can't change. When people are facing challenges, they too should focus on what they do have, what they can do, as opposed to what they don't have or what they can't do.
And this is like my new
The winter storms sweeping
this is the subscribe to my channel type shit. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing the subscribe.
To postpone appointments at mass vaccination sites due to delays in shipments.
Matter of fact, this is the I think I'm gonna title this
for this week. What happens to your
how to get 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I mean, that is a problem. You know, for many of those people that are hearing.
Oh, it's already titled. I mean, no.
And we know.
Y'all know what I mean.
That while you want to get these vaccines.
All right, so now it's time for me to go in a little bit closer.
Depending on which one you got.
Get this shit out the way. All right, so it's time for me to like go in closer down and cut all this shit that I need to cut out. Y'all already remember what I do. I go and get me another layer real quick. Let's get another layer.
We're also hearing that the shipments to some of these places
make this shit okay.
Not just because of the weather, but then because of the requirements for cold chain storage. When the vaccine gets to these places,
you're gonna do it as like a light blue or some shit like that or whatever.
And on the other hand, there are people who have vaccines.
Move this up.
About losing power, so they're trying to get their vaccines out as quickly as possible.
Y'all probably wondering why did I use like a light blue? I always want to use like a light color so I can always see the edges. And I want to make the color like opposite of the color that I already have. So I can go in with my eraser. I can go in with my eraser tool and tool this out real quick.
We spoke with Dr.
I can do that.
Last hour, and he said, hey, you know, the sad news is it's going to pop back up again. These variants are spreading fast. Don't let your guard down. I wonder if you agree with that, even as we see more people vaccinated, and that has
and that's what I did, yeah. So I go in. I can get as close as possible as I can to the edge and go on, smooth it out, edge it out. And it's like the harder I press down, the more coverage it takes away. Because I can do,
I think the big question is, and we've talked about this almost
like,
is which metrics are you going to
I can do like a small area if I don't press so hard.
But we've always said that
I ain't trying to. I'm trying to make it as clean. I want as clean as a clean edge as I can get. You know what I'm saying? You want clean lines all the time.
Because people, particularly vulnerable people,
and everybody won't know. I'm using, like I said, I'm using this Wacom pad that I bought at Best Buy yesterday.
Sanjay, the good news also is that
it was $100.
Studies reported in the New England Journal of Medicine, which show that the vaccines are.
Okay, let me show y'all what it looked like. This is what it looked like right here. This is what it came in. Wacom.
Remember, Pfizer and Moderna's vaccine trials were really done before the variants were circulating widely.
So, if you want to know, like, hey, what am I using? That's what I'm using to go ahead and go on. Like, I don't know if y'all seen some of my other videos or whatever. I kind of was like, not doing it so fast. It was taking me hours or whatever. And I think I just started like doing this picture and I'm almost done with it. I am almost done. And this is gonna be my thumbnail for matter of fact for this. Even though the title is different, but it's gonna be my thumbnail.
The South African variant, the virus, and they see how do those vaccines work against it. And what they found is exactly what you said. There was less antibody effect against the variants, but there was still plenty of neutralizing antibody effect. There's this big cushion.
So I just go in, just cut all that shit out, and clean it up.
The effect is there. We saw that with the study that came out of the New England Journal of Medicine yesterday on the Pfizer vaccine. And there was data earlier showing that the
make sure it's just clean, just really clean edges.
do seem to have an effect
That's all I really want. Is just some really good clean edges. That's it.
Johnson vaccine, which was trial when these variants were circulating, also has a significant effect, especially in terms of eliminating
Alright, we're gonna move this over.
So that's good news.
We're gonna take it up some.
Sanjay, folks are familiar with that number on the right side of our screen.
Knock out the finger.
90,000 Americans have lost their lives. This is having just a debilitating effect on life expectancy in this country. And it was really shocking to see.
I don't know what happened with that right there.
Up on the screen. But this is based.
And then that, I should have just took my hand off of it, tried when I readjust it. But it's all good. I can fix it. Boom. So you gotta do is right click, and then you'll fix it. I think I can right click on my pen too, or one of these buttons on my pen. I haven't really tested this product out as fully as I really wanted to just yet. I'm just now really practicing with it, man. I don't know, my energy levels have been absolutely crazy. It's like I've been tired for some reason. I really don't know what it is, but lately I've just been like really tired. My energy level has been super tired. I've been tired.
78.8 was life expectancy going into 2020. And now 77.8. And as we've seen so many times, the disparities, the impact on Black and Brown Americans, even more significant. For African Americans, it's down nearly 2.7 years. We'll see. I mean, it's going to get worse, as you pointed out, because that only goes up to the middle of 2020, and the end of 2020 was worse. I think what we really need to understand is this a blip in the radar, in terms of life expectancy, or are these going to be some persistent downward trends that last, several years? Don't know that yet, but yeah, I mean, it's amazing the impact this has had overall on life expectancy.
Let's just hope that the vaccines can outrun the variants. Thank you very much, Sanjay. Great to talk to you as always.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, it's just me picking up my hand, readjusting.
Texas.
All I'm doing is just picking up my hand, readjusting. Shit. I'm up here, I'm watching the news too, y'all, about this, cause I got my sister and she's in Texas, so, no, that's the wrong button. Alright, nope, so we got it. Go back. Alright, I need to undo that. Undo. Come on, bro. There we go. Undo. Alright. Alright, so I don't know why my pen ain't working. I guess because I might have fucking pressed a different type of button. Again, y'all, do not fucking goddamn. I'm just now using this fucking pen. I'm just now figuring it out. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all just gotta bear with me. It's not like I just fucking damn, just woke up and was like, oh yeah, I'm a pro. Damn. I'm a pro at this. Like, no, I'm not a fucking pro at all. I am a straight up amateur. Oh, come on, man. I can fix that though, so I ain't gonna worry about it. Oops. But yeah, so I'm sitting up here watching this. I'm watching the news and they talking about the people in Texas. This shit is so crazy. They talking about the The Texas have their own fucking power grid. They are not like linked to the national power grid or the federal power grid. They got their own Texas have their own power. Let's just say that. Man, these folks are so funny, bro. They blaming that shit on what that lady name is? AOC, or they call her AOC. So they blaming it on her. It is so fucking weird. It's like weird as fuck. The government do some weird. The government and the news do some weird shit, man. Y'all need to go watch that shit for yourself, though. It's on. It's more on Fox News that's doing that. That's talking about that. It's like the weirdest fucking thing ever. But they just want to take the attention off that they have their own power grid. They do whatever they want to do on their in they state. So and like I said, Texas got their own energy thing going on. I'll let y'all listen to some of this shit.
Tonight, the so-called energy capital of the world is mostly powerless.
Who dropped the ball here? I think it's the state. Sadly, the state didn't prepare for the worst case scenario, and now we're paying the price.
Texas is the only state with its own power grid.
Only state with its own power grid.
Federal regulation for cold weather safeguards. The governor is calling for an investigation of the Wacom, the nonprofit that operates the grid.
How could you not see this coming?
Well, ERCOT saw the storm coming. The issue that happened on Sundays, as the storm blew in, it also did damage to the supply side. And that knocked us enough out of balance that we had to take on these outages.
Some state leaders have blamed the outages on a failure of green energy, but wind and solar only make up 21% of the state's power. Natural gas makes up half. This week, there wasn't enough supply for the demand.
See, they goddamn put it on green energy. They don't even have green energy. It's only 12% green energy.
The far west side of the state is on a
It's
different
weird.
electrical system, which is running smoothly, leaving Houston residents like Harry Gallick, who's been without power for 3 days, wondering what went so wrong.
Everybody knew ahead of time that the storm was coming. Why are we in this position?
More gas stations are closing here, and some people are lining up for propane. They have no firm answer on when to expect their power back. Lester?
All right, Gabe.
Thank you. And there's another blast of dangerous winter weather threatening several states tonight. Dylan Dreyer is tracking it for us. Dylan, what's next?
Lester, there are more than 110 million people under winter weather alerts from the deep south all the way to the northeast. We will see more icing in areas that have already been hit hard. But tomorrow, we're especially looking for North Carolina and Virginia to see most of that ice. You go north of that, we will see some snow, but it's really the ice that's going to be a big issue because we could see as much as 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch of ice accumulation. That will down trees and power lines and also make road conditions treacherous. North of that, though, we will see most likely snow, but only about 4 to 6 inches out of this storm. Lester.
Dylan, I think we've all seen this movie before. Thank you. The brutal weather is slowing down the vaccination effort in all this. Just over 40 million Americans have now received at least one dose. About 64,500 are hospitalized. That's down slightly. Our Miguel Almaguer has more on the vaccine delays.
As one crisis triggers another, tonight frigid weather in some 30 states has frozen many vaccine distribution centers to a standstill with delays and cancellations. The snowstorm in Chicago preventing more than 100 providers from getting shipments. Weather also causing rippling shipping delays in Florida, leading to cancellations at grocery stores. complicating an already confusing system, rescheduling appointments that were nearly impossible to get.
I would certainly tell people to be their own best advocate and assume that they need to reschedule the vaccine themselves.
While no agency is reporting the total number of missed vaccinations, it's not just the storm, but supply compounding problems. In New York City, tens of thousands of appointments will be delayed because of their shortage, and another storm is moving in.
We're going to run out. Today, tomorrow, we're going to run out of what we have now.
With the U.S. vaccinating 1.7 million Americans a day, the White House says vaccine supply to states will increase to 13.5 million doses per week. At Gillette Stadium outside Boston, 65,000 have been inoculated, almost enough people to fill every seat in the stands. For Americans who can get a vaccine, scientists are getting close to answering a lingering question. If you're vaccinated and become infected, can you still pass the virus to others? Early research looks promising.
There have been some studies that are pointing into a very favorable direction that will have to be verified and corroborated by other studies.
But help can't come soon enough. By mid-March, the CDC says 559,000 Americans could lose their lives to the virus. A dark reminder that every day and every delay can cost lives. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
Those vaccine shortages have factored into a new timeline by President Biden for when all Americans will be able to get the shot.
Son of a
And he's
bitch.
also offering a new
I don't like that delay that it got.
Peter Alexander has that story.
The only reason why I don't like that delay because it's
death toll approaching 500,000 people in the U.S. President Biden's announcing a new timeline for when all Americans who want a vaccine can get one.
it makes it like a little bit.
600 million doses, enough to vaccinate every single
Come on.
That's a
Track,
shifting time
motherfucker.
frame after Dr. Fauci told NBC News just last week that all Americans could start to get vaccines in April. But the White House now says there's been a delay in vaccine production. And are reopening schools after the White House faced backlash for saying the president's 100-day goal was to have more than half open 1 day a week.
At least 1 day a week. Hopefully it's more.
This reset from President Biden.
There was a mistake in the communication. But what I'm talking about is I said opening the majority of schools in K through 8th grade.
And when will those schools be open 5 days a week?
I think we'll be close to that at the end of the first 100 days.
The president during a CNN town hall touting his $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan, offering this projection about when life may return to normal.
By next Christmas, I think we'll be in a very different circumstance, God willing, than we are today.
And President Biden will keep the spotlight on vaccines tomorrow when he tours a Pfizer manufacturing plant in Michigan. Lester?
All right, Peter Alexander tonight, thank you. In just 60 seconds, Vice President Kamala Harris weighs in on reopening schools and vaccinating teachers. Savannah Guthrie, exclusive interview, plus in our series, Kids Under Pressure, Homework Overload. All right, we're back now with Vice President Kamala Harris on the battle to reopen schools. Does she agree with the CDC's plan, and do teachers need to be vaccinated first? She spoke one-on-one with Savannah Guthrie.
Let's talk about schools. We got a lot of parents watching right now. The CDC.
Oh shit! I think I'm taking out my
guidance.
I am. I need to.
Reopen, but here's the thing. They
Fuck.
tied it directly.
I need to redo. Damn. Hold on.
Community. And I'm gonna put a map up because if schools
Cause
were to follow
damn, I wasn't even thinking that was my
the counties, 90% of the schools
that was part of my
able to open under
my
the
hat.
CDC's
I mean, yeah, my pullover.
Was it a mistake for the CDC
So let's
to connect school
make
reopening
sure.
to how much infection there is in a community?
Damn, I wasn't paying no
Let's first say
attention.
this, that in the last 4 weeks, schools are opening every week. More schools are opening. And it is because we are supplementing what needs to happen around the vaccinations, getting into to states, but also because we're seeing progress.
Well, what about that CDC guidance then? That's the question.
Well, so here's the thing.
All right,
CDC,
there we go.
They
So
have recommended, are exactly that, recommendations.
I gotta go in and clean that up because
They've been closed, how to stay open.
I didn't know that was part of my fucking
And so
pullover.
recommendations include what again needs to happen around social distancing, hand washing, mask wearing.
Sometimes you gotta pull out just to see what you're doing.
as safely as possible.
And
the CDC has said it is not a prerequisite for teachers to be vaccinated.
that's just me not pulling out and seeing what I was
Many
doing.
teachers are wary
I'll
of
clean
going back
that
to
up
school.
in
Can
a
you
second.
reassure teachers who are listening right now that it is safe for them to go back to school even if they are not vaccinated, if these public health measures like distancing and masks are being implemented?
So first of all, let me just say this, and the president has said it, and we're all really clear. Teachers should be a priority. Teachers should be a priority. I believe that up to 22 states, I believe, have prioritized teachers in terms of vaccinations.
But the states have the, is it safe for them?
Well, I think that we have to decide if we can put in place safe measures. This is why, and it's so important, we passed the American Rescue Plan. It's going to be safer for our schools to reopen when we can get our schools the infrastructure needs, like helping them with their ventilation systems, helping them create social distancing with barriers, the things that are necessary to get them back open in a safe way.
So, Savannah, after that interview, I understand late today the White House clarified.
That's right. A spokesperson said the vice president and the president agree vaccinations are not a requirement for teachers to return. It is the White House's preference that teachers get priority, but that, Lester, is up to the states.
An important conversation, Savannah.
Wow.
But that's what they having a problem with right now, ain't they? Son of a bitch. See, this was gonna be pissing me off. It's gonna be that tracking part. Like whenever, as soon as once I put my pen down, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for it to track, so I won't have to be doing what I'm doing right now. Yesterday I wasn't having this problem. Now, just a second ago, I wasn't really having this problem. Like it was tracking right on time.
We're looking at our computer screen all day, and then at the end of the day, we get like hours of homework at the end, and then it's just computer time on computer time.
According to our study, more than half of teens say time spent on schoolwork has gone up. The average amount of weeknight homework rose during the pandemic to 3 hours a night. More than half of students say that's too much, and nearly 70% cite grades, tests, and assessments as
There we go. I'm just gonna go with it.
Schoolwork for like 10 straight hours, either in class or just doing all work. So I'm really tired, and I just want to go to sleep.
Hiba is like so many students. How has your motivation about school changed?
This sounds kind of bad, but like my motivation has gone down so much.
Challenge success found fewer students are enjoying school. Almost half say they're just going through the motions. At Westlake High in Austin, where nearly half the students have opted for in-person learning, they're trying to ease the pressure.
When COVID hit, we just knew we couldn't sustain what we had been doing in the past.
Each day, one subject drops off the schedule and becomes a period for personal work.
Sometimes they need a little tutoring, sometimes they need one-on-one instruction, or sometimes they need to get a start on their homework.
Seniors Jenna May and Felix Chen and sophomore Kaylee Kish say it really helps.
I think it's definitely been the biggest reason why I have lower school stress this year.
I'm able to meet my teachers.
So boom.
And go over any of
I'm done. As y'all can see already.
The same amount, but I think more efficiently.
In our study, students
I'm
gave
done with
teachers
this.
high grades for support and caring during the pandemic.
They're being a little bit more flexible.
Now we're gonna take out this. Now we're gonna take this out real quick.
Teachers are really understanding, and because they know it's a crazy year for everyone.
Extracurricular activities.
All right, so I need to find me another.
And Kaylee plays volleyball. Felix is student body president.
It's definitely not what I expected, senior year to be like, but I think it was.
So I'm gonna open up one of my
Any other. Kate Snow, NBC.
I'm gonna open up one of my spots or one of my pictures that's already like the size for the the size for my thumbnail. So yeah.
Last night at CNN's town hall.
We need student loan forgiveness beyond the potential $10,000 your administration has proposed. We need at least a $50,000 minimum.
So this gonna be my thumbnail. This is what I'm gonna use for my thumbnail.
Give $10,000 in student loans.
Senator Elizabeth
So we're gonna create another layer, right? We're gonna create another layer.
Cancel more. Some experts say it doesn't tackle the root of the problem.
And go okay.
Was to students who went to college in the past.
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete the background for that.
We're going to school now, or we'll go to school in the future.
It's a crisis crushing graduates years after.
Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go over here.
Surge of student debt.
I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna go file, then I'm gonna copy. Then I'm gonna go over here, then I'm gonna paste it onto this. I'm gonna paste. I'm gonna paste it, we're gonna make it as a new layer. Then we bring it.
More than 44 million Americans are drowning in some 1.7 trillion.
And then we gotta bring it down
debt, a number that's doubled
to the
just the
size.
past decade. Nearly a third of borrowers
That I
are
need
either
to.
in default, late, or stop making payments within 6 years. As families like the Caps wait and see how this all plays out. Sam Brock, NBC News, Boca Raton.
Right up next for us tonight, the milestone in scouting. Finally, some of the newest Eagle Scouts are making history. Here's Kristen Dalton.
In communities around the country, almost 1,000 young women flew right through the glass ceiling this week.
When people think of Eagle Scouts, there's a lot of characteristics they associate with them, like
Alright, so
service.
now we're just gonna come in and just put some thumbnails in real quick.
Scouts BSA opened its ranks to girls. So with at least 21 merit badges and a service project, these young women ascended to Scouts' highest honor, something only 6% of Scouts ever achieved.
Alright, so we go again, we're gonna pick the color that I want to use, and of course I'm gonna want to use like this red. Let me see. I'm probably gonna need it. Yeah, there we go. I want to use that. Then of course you already know the want to use black for the back. Alright. Then we gotta make it like some exciting. We gotta make it like something exciting. You know what I'm saying? Something that stands out or whatever. And this one, I think that, so this one is gonna be called, we gotta let's find a cool font first of all. Matter of fact, we don't even want no cool font. We just want a font that's gonna like really like stand out to people.
Opened its ranks to girls. So with at least 21 merit badges and a service project, these young women ascended to Scouts' highest honor, something only 6% of Scouts ever achieved.
It teaches you perseverance and just hard work to get to the rank, and also be able to join the group of people that call themselves Eagle Scouts.
Twins Dana and Sierra Roman are 2 of 17 young women in Baltimore to lead the way for girls everywhere.
Kind of gives you the feeling that like anything is possible as long as you work towards it.
And isn't that the exact ideal?
There we go.
Kristen Dahlgren, NBC News.
Let's see. So we're gonna do.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Please take care.
We're gonna say how to get 1,000 subscribers on this bitch. This is gonna be our thumbnail, and we're gonna see how many clicks we can get on that bitch. Plus, I gotta change the title of this. So let's just go. Oops. I don't know why that.
I tried a laxative that's both gentle and fast.
The great tasting Dolga-like soft juice works naturally with the water in your body.
All right, so we're gonna change the color. We're gonna switch the color up because I want it to be red and black. What? Go back. Undo that. Undo. Oh man, come on, chill out. We need. Oh fuck.
Tonight, the deadly winter blast and the new threat on the move right now. That monster storm leaving at least 20 people dead and millions without power. And the records.
All right.
Deadly tornadoes in the south, another new danger along the same path. Al Roker tracking it. The Brilliant variant threat and where the UK strain was just found in a 4-year-old. This is the first federal mass vaccination sites open. Plus, we talked to the doctor who raced to give out doses before they expired. Why it cost him his job and landed him in trouble with the law. Also, we tell you what's safe to do and not to do after you're fully vaccinated. Former President Trump coming out swinging at Mitch McConnell after the Senate's top Republican said Trump was more than responsible for the Capitol riot. But Trump is now threatening to view the Republicans who stood against it. Our series, Kids Under Pressure, Savannah Guthrie talking to students at her former high school. What stresses them out most in the pandemic? And a hero sanitation worker, the surprise he started in the back of his truck just in time.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening, everyone. Caught between the vice of back-to-back storms and unthinkable cold, millions in Texas tonight are living a freezing nightmare without power, huddled against sub-freezing.
All right, so yeah, we want to make it
after an extreme winter
more.
System that's led to at least 28
We want to make it.
Now tonight, a second storm.
I'm gonna put this down in the middle because I'm gonna make this a little bigger. I'm gonna stretch it out to like there. I just want to make it like, we want to make everything fucking big. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna move this over here, and we're gonna make this bigger too. We're gonna stretch it out some. We're gonna make it bigger. We're gonna make it.
Stress and anxiety in our series, Kids Under Pressure. But let's start tonight with the unfolding weather disaster in Texas and Morgan Chesky.
Tonight, a frigid, icy fate facing millions of Americans.
All right, so we gotta go.
Winter storms claiming at least 28 lives. Sub-zero conditions shutting down entire states. Got a little chilly in here. In Texas, new record lows. Dallas dipping to -2, the coldest day since 1949.
We're having winter all the places that we have.
Here in Dallas, the power outages have been widespread and across the state.
I invited me to a party. I didn't even know. I'm not even online.
1 million households left in the dark, fighting to stay warm. Steve Rivera couldn't let his wife Alejandrina get any colder, so he turned to a neighbor with a fireplace for the first bit of warmth.
How? And then
How much power have you
let me see how big am I gonna make it?
Basically about 3 hours. 3 hours? The same winter blast, plunging Louisiana into a deep freeze. And in North Carolina,
Multiple houses, gone, nothing but foundation.
a rare February tornado tearing through a coastal town, leaving 3 people dead.
It truly was a disaster last night.
For many in Texas, the fear tonight, another round of snow, and no idea when power is coming back.
We're just keeping our fingers crossed that at some point today will come back on, but we'll just continue to live in the 19th century until then.
And tonight, with frustrations mounting over those power outages, Texas Governor Greg Abbott calling for accountability and an investigation into the state's electric council, describing them over the last 48 hours as anything but reliable. Lester. All right, Morgan, thanks. Let's get to that next big storm right behind this one. Al Roker is tracking
1,000 subs. We're gonna make this shit big, right? We're gonna make it super big.
Under some sort of winter weather,
We get one.
we are watching for the severe storms that have the possibility of tornadoes through the southeast and along the Gulf Coast. Isaac stretching from Texas into Tennessee and from Asheville, North Carolina to Allentown.
Stretch it, bad boy. How to get 1,000.
In the northeast, up to 1 inch per hour over the next 48 hours, and brutal cold with wind chills of 15 in Albuquerque.
There we go. So I go back here.
All right, Al, thank you. Let's turn now to the race to get Americans vaccinated. More than 39 million people have now received at least 1 dose, and hospitalizations continue to decline, now at about 65,000. But with vaccine supply,
We're gonna stretch that out. We're gonna make subscribers like almost there.
Emerging as the pandemic's most serious threat, tonight new variants of the virus are being discovered in more pockets of the nation. In Massachusetts, the UK strain found in a patient as young as 4. In Connecticut, authorities now confirming their first case of the South African variant.
I'm pretty concerned. I feel like this is kind of the last big storm before vaccine.
And then we're gonna goddamn make we're gonna make fast.
The public may not have access to vaccines until May or June. Another brutal blast of cold weather put a freeze on new shots in several states today. But in Seattle, a historic snowstorm didn't stop.
And we're gonna make this big.
from walking 6 miles to get her dose.
There's no driving, and I thought, what's the alternative? So I decided I would walk.
Meantime, super sites like the Open Cal State Los Angeles are also open for the first time, inoculating the underserved.
It's important to get it out there and protect all of us as a group.
Outside Houston, Hassan Gokul went from renowned doctor to alleged criminal after a vaccine vial had been opened at his suddenly empty distribution site. 10 doses would go to waste in 6 hours.
There was this urgency and fear that I needed to get this thing done. I cannot, in good conscience, waste this stuff.
Scrambling to inoculate acquaintances and even strangers, Gokul had only minutes left to give out his last dose before it expired. He inoculated his wife, who has underlying conditions, and was charged with vaccine theft the next day.
What went through your head when you were charged with a crime?
Well, that had to be the toughest. That had to be the toughest day of my life. Everything just collapsed at once.
A judge later cleared the doctor, who was fired, of any wrongdoing. But tonight, the fight for vaccines and those who get them first remains as heated as ever.
And Miguel joins us now. Miguel, there's some new information out there about kids and COVID. What is it?
Lester, here in the U.S., more than 3 million children have contracted COVID in the city of Los Angeles. Angeles elementary schools are set to reopen, but it's unclear if teachers want to return to the classroom. Lester?
All right, Miguel, thanks. Now to the new showdown growing between former President Trump and the top Republican in the Senate, Mitch McConnell. Our Peter Alexander has the latest.
Tonight, just days after his acquittal, a blistering attack from former President Trump directed squarely at Mitch McConnell. Mr. Trump unloading on the Senate's top Republican for his, quote, dedication to business as usual, and mocking him as a dour, sullen, and an unsmiling political hack, arguing the Republican Party will not win again with McConnell as its leader. Mr. Trump vowing, I will back primary rivals who espouse making America great again.
All right, so now we're gonna put some. Now it's time to put like some 3D effects on this. Let's go. Let's put some good old. Okay. We ain't worried about that. So boom, we're gonna boom. Let's put a drop shadow on that. Then we're gonna go here. We're gonna put a drop shadow on all of this. Let's put a drop shadow on that. Make that look boom. Make it stand out real good. This shit kind of looking roll tide-ish right now. Even though I know I'm from Alabama, but damn, I wasn't even trying to go for that type of boogity 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 boogity. So boom, we're gonna go there. We're gonna fix that, make that. Let's put a 3D effect on that. We're gonna put a drop shadow on that shit there, and boom, we're gonna make it like that. And
Peter Alexander at the White House this evening. Thanks. And a program note.
And then
Vice President Kamala Harris tomorrow morning on Today.
Let's put. I'm gonna put like a. Let me open this up. So let's open this up real quick because I'm finna show y'all what I'm gonna do.
Here's Kirsten.
Tonight is a World Health Organization team investigating COVID-19 says.
All right, so I'm looking for my little seal.
American and Western government officials say the United States still isn't ruling out other possibilities, including a research.
I got like a little seal. I don't know where it's at. It's on here somewhere.
One Western intelligence official telling NBC News, the U.S. has substantial intelligence that has not been made public about actions the Chinese government took related to the Wuhan lab and other.
And if I can't do that, then I'll just use my
and conceal its impact early on. This month, President Biden's Secretary of State told Andrea Mitchell, China is not being transparent.
All right, so boom.
Lack of transparency, lack of being forthcoming, is a profound problem. It's one that continues.
In January, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo alleged researchers at a Wuhan lab had COVID-like symptoms as early as fall of 2019. WHO investigators say they've seen no evidence of.
I can't find my little seal, so maybe should I use?
If it was larger than reported. China's official case count in December of 2019
I think I'm gonna use my crown. So we're gonna make this thing. We're gonna say it's king of clickbait. Let's go. Where you at?
Early cases. Instead, they released more general data.
Let's use my crown real quick. So we're gonna. No, we don't want that. We want the. Yep, we want that one.
About China's actions is significant.
So I'm gonna use that, and then we're gonna copy.
Will it ever be published? Lester?
Alright, we're gonna go and close that back out, then we're gonna paste it. Let's paste it right here.
Special series, kids under pressure, and what worries them most? COVID cases are dropping across the country, but with vastly different approaches in different states. So what can we learn by comparing, say, California and Florida? Here's Gabe Gutierrez. From coast to coast, the war against COVID has looked very different. In California, among the strictest lockdowns. They're announcing and introducing.
I'm gonna put it. I'll put that like right in there, but watch what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go all the way down here to the bottom. I'm gonna put it on the bottom. So we're gonna.
We lifted our state up. We saved our economy. But those states have seen similar improvements in the last few weeks. About a month ago, California had 56 hospitalizations.
We're gonna turn.
Florida had 35. Now they're similar. As for total COVID cases, California has about 8,600 for 100,000 people. Florida about 8,400. And if you compare COVID curves for those states, while Florida was hit harder per capita during that first spike, they're pretty similar, considering California's population is nearly double. We're
gonna put a greedy little text in there. Greedy, you dirty somebody. You dirty some bitch. So we're gonna use. Let's use. I want to use a white color. A white. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna say. Oops. Yeah, we're gonna leave it at that too.
But you did see some towns react by putting into place measures that really discourage in-person gatherings.
And that's what we're gonna call that bad boy.
Social impact on children.
Yeah, I need to turn it real quick. We're gonna call it clickbait. So
If you are one of the millions fortunate enough to have gotten the COVID vaccine, what's safe to do afterwards and what activities should you still avoid? Katie Beck looks at that for us.
As the vaccine rolls out and more Americans roll up their sleeves,
it feels like freedom. You know, like somebody's letting me out of a cage.
A shot of relief.
My mom was 10 minutes away and I haven't been able to hug her in a year.
So yeah, so we we're gonna call it we gonna call this shit clickbait.
About 2 weeks after a second dose, it's okay to socialize with others who are fully vaccinated.
You can get together, you can take fewer precautions.
That's what we're gonna call it.
Visits with grandchildren and returning to a favorite place also okay, while being mindful that you may still be able to spread the virus.
I think a lot of people that are eager to get back to some activity routine they might have had.
You're probably safer to go back to doing those things. I think that the concern would again be making sure that the staff at the gym, other patrons at the gym are also protected.
The next phase is herd immunity, estimated when 60 to 80% of the population are fully vaccinated. And finally, international immunity, not likely before 2022.
Okay, there we go.
Shots go out, masks still a must in public. But doctors say vaccines are finally giving us hope. Katie Beck, NBC News.
We're going to turn now to our week-long series, Kids Under Pressure, and more on our groundbreaking study on the weight teens have been carrying over the last year. Our Savannah Guthrie spoke with students at her former high school about what worries them the most.
Always someone who found joy in getting involved in school, Miriam Barraza Perez has struggled to adjust to a life upended by the pandemic. What has it been like to be away from your friends?
I haven't seen them in months, so it's been really difficult. I don't have my support system.
She's a junior at Amphitheater High School in Tucson, Arizona, a school I know well. But instead of a traditional high school experience, Miriam and other Amphi students have been remote for most of the
All right, so that's what I'm gonna use. It's probably gonna piss people off, but hey, whatever. But that's what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna put a here. Let's put. We're gonna fill this in with a backdrop.
It does get stressful, just because I feel
There we
like
go.
this year a lot of students had to learn these topics on their own.
The anxiety over school leading to more frequent headaches.
There's times where
Man, I don't know why I feel like I want to put a goddamn a laughing face in this motherfucker because
comprehensive studies of its kind.
I know how people are, man. So when you get real butthurt about that shit.
56% of teens reported their stress related to school increased since the pandemic started, especially among girls and students of color.
But we just want to do a test, and we want to see how we want to see like what people, how many people would click on it, and you know what I'm saying, how much traction this would get. So here we're gonna go ahead and go on file. We're gonna file and say this. Yo, should I put some money behind this shit? I don't know. Should I put money? I think I probably should. Let's see. We're gonna just see how it looks if I put the money behind that shit. The raining money. Make it rain. We're gonna see how it looks. And if it don't look good, I'll take it out. But let's just see real quick. We're gonna do that because it might be too much, y'all. So boom, we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna do it on my I'm actually gonna do it on my blackout video. So here we go. Let's paste as a new layer, right? New layer.
I've had so many times
okay, boom.
I feel stressed about all the homework that I have.
See what that looks like, y'all. Yeah, we want to see what this looks like. So we got money behind that motherfucking everything. So it looks like it's too busy. I could stretch it out and make it don't look so fucking
just when their parents asked them how things were and understood they're not trying to slack off. This is just a very difficult circumstance, Lester.
Alright, so let's see.
Stress in your skin? Not with new Olay Bright
What this look like?
Which improves skin 3 times better. From dry and stressed to bright and smooth.
That shit look too busy, right? It might look too busy in the back. So we just gonna delete that. I'm gonna delete that because it looks like super busy in the background. I don't want it. I want this shit to like stand out so people will click on it. So let's just see what this looks like first and see how much traction we can get with this right here. All right. So we're gonna file. We're gonna save as. We're gonna say this as how to get 1,000 subscribers fast.
Nationwide, a rare spike in gas prices in the middle of winter hitting consumers hard.
It's very expensive. I brought a lot.
According to
Subs fast.
per gallon of regular.
Cause I'm gonna use it on my fucking blackout, man.
The highest increases in Florida, Connecticut, Utah, and in Idaho of 20 cents a gallon.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this on my I'm gonna use this for my blackout too. So
shutting down 20% of the nation's oil refineries, mostly in Texas.
And see how that shit work. All right, y'all. So this ends the video. This ends the stream. I gotta get ready and get on to the other stream over here. So I'm gonna get at y'all later. This your boy Rich Thug 205, man. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, man. I'm gonna be coming with more videos like this. I do have some fresh content. I just haven't posted it yet. Like I said, my timing is so fucking consumed. But as soon as I get a little bit of more time, I'm gonna post this new content that I have out. That I'm working on right now, and we're gonna get y'all some new shit going. So, it's your boy Rich Thug 205, and I'm out.
Folks, this is one lucky kid.
I was thinking.
Ooh, hiccups.
7-year-old Elias.
Come on, buddy, you gotta get up out of here.
Picked the wrong place to play hide and seek in a trash